The Arcturian group, God's perfect creations. Never doubt that a divine plan is unfolding exactly as needed at this time, and that today's chaos and confusion are a part of the process. As old energy becomes increasingly obsolete, it is acting as a catalyst for change and making room for the new. Hardened hearts and minds, long stuck in what they have always been told, are opening and beginning to question the status quo. Many long-held laws, beliefs, traditions, societal concepts, and accepted ways of living are based in the belief that humans are separate from God, each other, and non-human life forms. These beliefs are no longer working for many because mankind has evolved and is ready to move beyond the limitations of these false beliefs. Although most are not aware of it, mankind has been preparing for these times in every lifetime, but must be able to align with the high-frequency light now flowing to Earth. In order to do this, the dense, false, and obsolete energies that have long sustained the third-dimensional belief system must be seen, recognized, rejected, and then, from a lack of energy to feed them, dissolve into the nothingness that they are and always have been. However, those who have always profited from Earth's collective ignorance of truth are working very hard at this time to keep mankind aligned with three-dimensional beliefs of the past. Earth and everything on it is real, spiritual, whole, and complete. But for eons, God's perfect creations have been experienced through minds and hearts conditioned by beliefs of duality, separation, and powers that harm and destroy. The world is real, but how it has been perceived is illusion. As increasingly more evolve beyond duality and separation and into a consciousness of oneness, reality can begin to manifest on Earth as higher and better forms of what you are already familiar with: laws, religion, government, education, healthcare, etc. Because the outer is a reflection of the inner, the higher forms of everything will reflect oneness rather than separation. God's creations can never dissolve because they are reality, governed and held permanently in place by divine law. It is only material concepts/forms of divine ideas that disappear or change as consciousness changes. Mind is not a creator. It is an interpreter, a path of awareness, interpreting personal and collective states of consciousness. Consciousness is the creative substance of form. Because there is only one, I am you and you are me, but individualized expressions of the one. This does not mean everyone is or is going to become exactly the same, but rather means that every person's true divine nature, completeness, wholeness, abundance, harmony, life, etc., will continue to express individually as the culture, needs, and preferences of every person, while remaining forever in and of one. God, divine consciousness, source, is all that exists. Period. So how could a human, an animal, or even a tree be made of something different, something less, something bad, or something wrong? God consciousness is infinitely creating and expressing itself as creations that may have different forms, be invisible, or even unknown to humans, but all are in and of the one manifesting itself as the divine idea for that particular form. The changes coming as Earth moves more into reality will increasingly expose the unreality of the world's three-dimensional collective belief system. This is going to cause fear and resistance in those who believe that the material world is the only reality, that God lives in the sky waiting to be begged, prayed to, and sacrificed to, that humans live only one life and are nothing more than worms in the dust until baptized or saved. Collectively, most humans have surrendered the power, dominion, that is innately theirs to almost everyone and everything claiming to be power. Humans have been taught and continue to believe that they are limited and need experts to tell them what to do, say, and believe. However, this is changing as increasingly more spiritually awaken and begin to reclaim their personal dominion, which is not dominion over others, but dominion over self and what one chooses to believe. Truth must never be organized. Most, but not all, present-day organized religions came about after the original teacher was no longer around and their message and teachings were organized and taught by those of a much less evolved state of consciousness, allowing once pure teachings to become contaminated with three-dimensional concepts and interpretations. Most present-day religions bear little resemblance to the message of the original teacher. Not all, but most, have become profitable businesses with rules, doctrines, beliefs, and CEOs that represent and promote the three-dimensional state of consciousness. You are the only religion, and you are the only church. Because God is already fully present as you and every life form, you automatically bring God with you to any church, ceremony, or holy location. Yes, there are some places on earth that hold a higher resonance, but you don't need them to get something that is not already present within you. These locations, as well as crystals, oils, ceremonies, incense, and spiritual tools, serve to augment, awaken, and help a person to more closely align with that same energy already present. You are the only religion and you are the only church. Because God is already fully present as you and every life form, you automatically bring God with you to any church, ceremony, or holy location. Yes, there are some places on earth that hold a higher resonance, but you don't need them to get something that is not already present within you. These locations, as well as crystals, oils, ceremonies, incense, and spiritual tools, serve to augment, awaken, and help a person to more closely align with that same energy already present. It is not so much the desire to help others as it is fear of being wrong and losing support that has and continues to make so many individuals and groups proselytize, promote, and even attempt to force others into their personal belief system. You are seeing a resurgence of this today as many, calling themselves Christians, attempt to force personal three-dimensional concepts of Christianity onto others. This is not real Christianity. Jesus, Buddha, and other spiritual masters did not come to Earth to found religions. They came to help break the three-dimensional hypnotism mankind had been suffering from for ages through teachings of truth and works of love. Most people were not yet ready for the advanced spiritual principles these masters taught, and so simply made the teacher a god separate from them. The work of these earlier masters seeded Earth's collective consciousness with truth in preparation for present times. Laws, government, forms of worship, healthcare, education, etc., are real spiritual ideas, material interpretations of divine completeness, wholeness, harmony, etc. They are based in love and oneness and are supported by divine law, but like everything in the material world, have been falsely interpreted and manifest as duality, separation, and many powers. What you see taking place in the world at this time is the process of awakening humans into knowing, seeing, desiring, working towards, and even demanding higher levels of everything for everyone and not just a select few. People are reclaiming their power and beginning to accept that all life is connected, whether far away or close, regardless of appearance or form. They are beginning to trust in their ability to make decisions for themselves and are losing fear of those continuing to claim that only they have power, knowledge, and dominance over everything. This is the spiritual ascension. Love is the only reality simply because one is all that exists. Attaining the state of consciousness is the goal of everyone's evolutionary journey. Allow the process. We are the Arcturian group.